I refer to reports of Liberals boasting about playing the Nationals like a banjo over their broken promise to increase fuel tax. With his budget of broken promises, the Prime Minister has deceived veterans, motorists, pensioners, families. And now we find out that he's even deceived the National Party and regional Australia. Is there anyone in Australia that this Prime Minister has not lied to?
The assertions made by the Leader of the Opposition and the report on the ABC are simply wrong. The coalition is strong. It's based on an atmosphere of trust and reliance on one another.
Now that the National Party knows that the diesel fuel tax rebate was never on the table, will the acting Prime Minister finally stand up for regional Australia? Will he oppose Prime Minister Abbott's new petrol tax?
There is a threat to the diesel fuel rebate. There is a threat of higher taxes on diesel and for the transport industry, and that threat is Labor. That threat is Labor. Labor remains committed to imposing a carbon tax on transport fuel.
My question is to the Minister for Agriculture. I refer the Minister to the importance of the diesel fuel tax rebate to primary producers. Liberal Party members are now telling journalists that they never really considered any changes to the diesel fuel tax rebate because, and I quote, Gina and Twiggy would have come after us. Why is the National Party making millions of Australians pay a petrol tax hike, knowing people who drive long distances in country areas will be the worst affected?
Madam Speaker, I'm absolutely thrilled to answer the question because you know what? It's been 260 days in this place and I've never been asked the question. Never once. Never once. That's it. That's their attitude to agriculture. And the first question I get asked for by agriculture is for the member for Sydney, isn't it? The member for Sydney. The member for Sydney. We got a question about it. A rumour. So I've heard another rumour. Here's a rumour. I've heard that the member for Sydney wants the Leader of the Opposition's job. Here's a rumour. Here's another rumour. I've heard that someone from the New South Wales right, got convicted by the ICAC for corruption. Oh, hang on. That's not a rumour. That's the truth. Eddie O'Bean. I heard another rumour that someone from the New South Wales right, also wants your job. Tony Burke wants your job, but that's not a rumour either. I heard another rumour that the member for Lilly is still in the chamber. No, it's the truth. He's still here. So we hear lots of rumours. Around here, but we never get any questions about policy. No questions about policy. I welcome you. After 260 days, they've finally decided that there is an agricultural portfolio, but they just can't work out how to ask a question about it.
My question is to the Minister for Agriculture. And I refer him to the importance of the diesel fuel rebate to primary producers and indeed rural communities more generally. Can he confirm that Gina Rinehart now has more influence over coalition policy than does the National Party? And isn't it the rural community and primary producers suffering from this lack of influence on the part of the National Party?
It's just nirvana, isn't it? No questions, then two in a day. I mean, I was about to put a cutout of myself down there, but this is incredible. The most amazing thing is we talk about influence. I'll tell you where most of the influence is. Most of the influence is in the union movement. And I'll tell you where there's real influence, and we saw some influence today, Eddie O'Bean. Now there's a man with real influence.
Will the Minister explain why there isn't a single extra dollar for a single new Pacific Highway project in the 2014 budget, in spite of the fact that this budget slugs motorists with a new petrol tax? Or will the Minister stick to his practice of keeping his comments off the record?
What we're trying to fix on this side is not only an infrastructure deficit, but a budget that was broken, it was unsustainable, and we're fixing it.
Given the Minister's chosen to go on the record, can he go on the record about how the same budget...
Resume your seat. The Minister has the call. He's completed his answer.
The Prime Minister's budget has cut $80 billion from schools and hospitals. It's cut family benefits and cut pensions. It'll make people pay more to go to the doctor and more to fill up their petrol in their car. Why have government ministers spent all week undermining each other rather than tackling this budget of broken promises?
There is no question there to be answered for which the Acting Prime Minister has any responsibility. We'll move on to the next question.
My question's to the Acting Prime Minister. The Minister for Communication told Alan Jones this morning, in a truly outstanding interview, no one wants to pay more money to go to the doctor, no one wants to pay more tax, no one wants to pay more at the petrol bowser. If Malcolm Turnbull can admit that the Prime Minister's budget of broken promises is hurting Australians, why can't the rest of your team?
Why is it acceptable to pay $6 for a bottle of pills, but $7 to visit a doctor is unacceptable? $7 is unacceptable. The Labor Party is so full of double standards, that any commentary they might want to make on health issues is simply not worth listening to.
At a press conference this morning, the Minister for Communications said, "We are totally united, totally cohesive, totally committed." How can this be true given the acting Prime Minister, the Nationals and the Australian people were so blatantly deceived by the Liberal Party?
I have to say, the nature of the questions that have been coming today that really are an infringement of Standing Order 100 and Standing Order 98, and that, I'm afraid, is another one, and we will move on.
Why has the Minister for Communications gone on a media blitz to sell his own credentials rather than to sell this Prime Minister's budget of broken promises?
What a reckless man, what a hollow man, what a hollow opposition, full of complaints. What do they offer us? What do they offer us? $667 billion of debt. That's what I'm reminding people about, and we are all reminding people about every day we speak. Had we stuck with your budget, with your plans, this country would sink deeper and deeper into debt. You had no solutions. The Treasurer produces a budget. He produces a budget. Do you have any alternative plans? Just heckling, just catcalling. What a tragic mob you are. No ideas. What a hopeless... Madam Speaker, they say they don't like cuts. He's been very good with a knife in the past. Quite the swordsman. But he's better at putting into people's backs, isn't he? Oh, yeah.